So for those that are requiring a little bit of translation, that's Eastern Darandara and Southern Tonganakol. Connected through Eastern, through Alice Springs, through my grandmother, and through my grandfather's saltwater at Kingston, South Australia. So I laughingly say I'm on country somewhere between Alice Springs and Mount Gambier, depending on the political forces applied to me at the time. So yeah, I'm really grateful for the opportunity today and embarrassed by the elite company that I carry today, so I'll do my best. And I do have a presentation which is shocking all the blackfellas in the room. All right, just to acknowledge we're First Nations country, always was, always will be, never been ceded. And I want to, there's a common theme here, and I also want to acknowledge the Commissioner who was a previous colleague when we set up the Indigenous protected areas in the early days, when government was responsible and it did act and it had a few bucks in its back pocket. Driving recovery, and what is driving recovery in our space? And my space is very much the community development, First Nations, caring for country, right way engagement, and we need to remind ourselves what is right way engagement. I think everyone's doing it right way at the moment, and no one was doing it wrong way before. So what are the core principles? It's for us just listening and respect, and I'm going to blow through these slides and you can get copies of it because we want to respect the time for other people. And reciprocity, which is give and take. You know, it goes both ways. It's got to go both ways. Shared planning and cultural protocols. And we often overuse the word cultural protocols, and it's just respecting our site stories and cultural practices in all activities that we do. I've got an example here. So every time I'm going to have a slide about how to do it, I'm going to bring one of the high profile items, and there's probably 99 to 1,000 others that need the high profile that these do, but we've got the black-footed rock wallaby, the waru, and a very successful collaboration of scientists and the Arnangal Pitjantjeri Yunkanjeri people, where they were put within another animal, bred at Monado Zoo, flown in and put within the fence because it needed to, because of the ferals that were out there. That was so successful that they have them outside the fence. But when we had the drought, they were carrying 20 litres of water up the hills to put bird feeders up there for water. That's how, important this was. But it's a great story. Captive breeding program, predator control, habitat management, monitoring and research, all stuff we know. There's this issue about, I've heard scientists say today how expensive it is to be on country. How expensive do you think it is to live there? These people are there, they're primed, they're ready to go, they've got governance, they've got internet, they've got mobile phones, and they've got boots on the ground. What they don't have is the research money that every one of us in this room has to support them. We have a great program that's expanding, and I really can't overemphasise it. The IPA program is something I hold dear to my heart. The funding and resourcing on the ground and the gaps that are enabling people to put the diesel in the tank to get them out on country. Every car that I know goes out in these places, blows 2 tyres. They're no longer $300, they're $1,000. We just need that resourcing that we can bring to those programs. The return and economies of scale of using people already out there who are skilled and knowledge in managing country is the best return on your investment. So what are the benefits? You get culturally informed land management, you get biodiversity protection, and today we've got some pretty sexy ones to talk about: the night parrot, the waru, the jakara, all things that have got a lot of attention and have been funded, but there are many more out there and there are many more connects. It also brings climate resilience, and our systems often provide adaptive strategies that assist with climate. And fire is the one that comes to mind straight away, but there are a whole lot of other practices. And we can't forget about community empowerment, how much it brings our community together, give them the opportunity to share their jukupa, their stories, and know that they're leading the actual conservation efforts. It also builds language and strengthens the community. And here's a great example of that Wadu program and all the rangers that benefited from having rangers within that program. And it just happened to be my great esteemed colleague here, Fiona, attached to an IPA, which has been in existence out there for a long time. So the IPAs are the foundation for that. We have the jakara, which is the great desert skink, and only survives in really healthy spinifex country. and our country's broken, and I can't say it enough. Without country being looked after, these species are under threat. It's totally tied to the story and the cultural connection of the people and the health of the country. So partnerships built on equity. I seem to be a broken record on this one, and everywhere I go I say it, and I hope people don't get sick of it. But what are the core principles of equity? And it means not bringing an agenda about knowing the solutions live in the room and that we are simply funding a conversation, not an outcome. It provides self-determination. You know, Aboriginal people lead the way. They're doing it in their communities. If you go into a community and try and lead the way, you're going to go the wrong way. Mutual respect. Everything we do is built around respect and partnerships. And I think we've had some words today, some really strong words about the universities and how they're going to do better. And it's with proper partnerships and respect from day one and how you can build that. Power sharing. Often our mobs aren't in the decision-making process. And cultural safety, they create an environment. And I want your take-home message to be equity means we don't just sit at the table, we build the table together. A great outcome of this sort of approach was the National Recovery Plan for the Jukara, driven by Indigenous Desert Alliance. And I won't go into too much, but I want you to have a look and investigate it, because the returns on investment for the saving or the creating a safe environment for those animals was fantastic, and it's all well recorded, managed. You know, again, habitat protection, threat mitigation, and community engagement. So have a look at that when you get a chance. Can't overstate how a healthy country impacts on our ability to save our species. You know, night parrots rely on that sort of country you see on the left there, the heavy spinifex that is rare in our communities. It's under threat. It's under threat from climate, it's under threat from, you know, development, it's under threat for a whole lot of reasons. But when people are allowed to manage country properly, we actually can drive, and the night parrots were one of the things that were located out on these heavy spinifex countries. The rangers in the Indigenous protected area own this story. It's not my story. And, you know, they had estimated 50 individuals within 29,000 kilometres, and they hadn't seen that many birds in one place for so many years. They now do all their traditional ecological knowledge, and they mesh it with modern scientific methods through their partnerships. They do all the acoustic monitoring and camera trapping. They do all the monitoring out there. And dingoes, and we've had a chat about dingoes this morning. You know, they play a crucial role in just managing populations, and there's some argument that they're not are no longer a proper dingo, and there's science that says they are. There's some argument that says they're not native. Well, for us they are, and that's enough for me. Bush Heritage, who I'm currently wear a t-shirt for, we work with mob, and we actually make sure that the dingo is prominent in how the solutions are, how they're driven from traditional led management of country. You know, dingoes feature prominently in our spiritual and totemic beliefs across many nations. I just want to finish up, and we'll be available for 2 days. I just want to say those key words that I keep over and over. Habitat protection equals healthy country. Community-led equals working together. And we've got to acknowledge our country is broken, and we need to act now. And that clear, simple solution, resource on-ground activity. Thank you.